The time is now 7 p.m. I call the Lisle Library District Strategic Planning Committee meeting to order. Oh, December 11th, 2024.
That's on, yeah.
Jackie, please call the roll.
Emily Swistak.
Here.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Here.
Karen Larson.
Here.
Liz Sullivan.
Here.
Vanessa Berry.
Here.
Debbie Bryan.
Here.
Josh Martin.
Here.
Tatiana Weinstein.
Here.
Will Savage.
Here.
John Ferrari.
Present.
Elizabeth Hopkins.
Here.
Paul Hurd.
Here.
Laura Murph. Absent.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 2 is opportunity for visitors to speak. General public comment period. Seeing none, we will move along to item 3. Approve minutes of the August 27th, 2024 Strategic Planning Committee meeting. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
I move to approve the minutes of the August 27th, 2024 Strategic Planning Committee meeting.
I'll second.
Who said it first?
Liz can have it.
Okay, so Sullivan, thank you. A motion and a second, discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Emily Swistak.
Aye.
Marjorie Bartelli.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Liz Sullivan.
Aye.
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Josh Martin.
Aye.
Tatiana Weinstein.
Aye.
Will Savage.
Aye.
John Ferrari.
Aye.
Elizabeth Hopkins.
Aye.
Paul Hurd.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, motion passes. Agenda item number 4 is public survey finalization and dissemination options discussion. Director Weinstein.
Okay, so in the committee packet, you'll see a printed copy of what could be our survey to the public. And then after we review the survey, we'll discuss some dissemination options. But I wanted to show, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I just wanted to show what the survey looks like. What someone who would log in and see. Let me see. Saying on, projector V. Okay. Did they turn it off?
It got turned off, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was just down.
It just take a little bit to come off. I'll turn this on. I just want to show you what it physically will look like.
I enjoy seeing the features of the room.
It was fun before. Looks like it's trying to do something. Okay. All right. So this is what the Google form looks like. I'm not going to go through everything, and the only thing you won't see is that Tatiana@lislibrary.org right here. But this is what it looks like, and then when you scroll through, because in the printed copy, some of the items on the left side are truncated or shortened, but they don't look like that on the online version. And when we do a printed copy, we'll make it look prettier, but you can see everything has check boxes, they're not truncated, everything looks pretty slick throughout. I won't go too fast, but it's basically, this is what someone would see. There are hot links, as was suggested, that takes you straight to, things like that. So that's just my quick and dirty show off of what the survey will look like. We'll go and look at the the document and then talk about editing that. Well, can you do this? I can't. Okay. Okay. So I took all of the suggestions from the last committee meeting and implemented them into this draft. On the first page, it was suggested that in the very first sentence, because a trustee suggested that people don't know who we mean when we say department directors. So we've linked to the department directors page, the assistant directors page, and the directors page that explain who we are and the departments. I've also linked to the board members page, so that's there. And then we added that kind of prep statement that the next 5 questions are about this. That was also suggested. And if we flip the page,
Can we stop? Are you just going to give me a general overview?
let me
and then
give
we'll
it
go back?
Yeah, and then we'll go back through and make edits.
Thanks.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. So the next page, we group things in terms of like programs or materials and things like that. So this is much differently grouped than the first draft. The only addition here is we added musical programs because that was a suggestion. If you flip the page, the next page, we rephrased the introduction here. Instead of like asking the survey taker a question like, do you do this? We just said, help us enhance our outdoor program offerings. And then at the top here, there is a typo. It's already been corrected on the online version, but it says mark only one oval. That's not what we want. So right now, it's been changed to checkboxes. So these ovals, just pretend they're not there. And then as far as the selection, the items to select, we've divided them into negatives and positives. So the first chunk are negatives, the second chunk are positives. If you want me to reverse that, we can do that. Next page. We have a newly added image so people can see what we're talking about in terms of the property we're discussing here. And then we added bike racks to the selection. And again, the mark only one oval is a mistake. That's been corrected already. Next page. There was nothing changed in the where in the district outside of the fact that I hyperlinked the district to a district map. So just in case someone's taking the survey, they don't know if they're in the district or not, they can see. And then there's another prep statement about the next 3 questions regarding materials. So if you flip there, again, these answers are chunked in a way they will not be displayed, but we provided examples in parentheses. So under digital downloadable, we used Hoopla, eMedia Library, and Libby. And then under preloaded digital, we kept Kindles and Playaways. And we took out seeds. And that was the changes there. And if you flip the page, the 2 new items that were listed here were the hotspots and the Rokus, and those are towards the bottom. And then like an explanatory what that is in parentheses. You can flip to the next page. I don't think we changed anything here in terms of how often do you visit. Those stayed the same. And then there was a statement about the next 2 questions. Here we linked to the website regarding e-blasts, just in case somebody doesn't know what that is. And then they can also sign up. And number 10, the library volunteers, we linked to the website as well so that people can learn more about that program. Take the pages there. Again, at the top, I included the link to the district in case anybody was interested. The age ranges didn't change. On number 12, this was a new question we added, like, do you have a library card? And then we also added the reciprocal option for the second choice. And then in number 13, that is indeed mark only one oval, please. So that's, you only choose one there. We didn't change anything there. And then if you flip over to the map, we did make some adjustments here. So the train tracks used to be much larger and black, and that was causing, it could cause some confusion. So we made them a little faded and more in tune with the color of the map and smaller. So I think this outlines the areas a little bit more starkly. Thank you, bless you. And then if we flip, so that was a suggestion. Number 15, we didn't change anything there. And I think there aren't any other suggested changes, but I hear we have some. So we can go back through the document from page 1 and go from there.
Sorry I wasn't at the last meeting. I had an issue with one of my kids. So I know that I missed the first discussion that you had, the first iteration of the survey. But I was looking at it, spent some time, and I think because of the fact that I wasn't here for that discussion, then I wasn't involved in maybe how things were talked about. And so I have some questions just based on how I read it. And then if And then I'm wondering if I'm struggling to understand something or something might be confusing to me, how other people feel about it too, okay? So I'll start, so on the first page, where there's the information about it, in the second paragraph, the second sentence that says the LLD recently completed a successful renovation and it doesn't stop there. What's the it? What's that pronoun it for? Is it we aren't stopping there? What is the it?
I mean, it could mean a number of things. It just means that we had a successful project and that doesn't stop there. We have future projects.
So like we aren't stopping there then, or something like that? Because I'm working in a language like realm, not right now, I'm wondering what the pronoun it is referring back to.
Adjust it.
So I don't know if people feel like it could be, and we aren't stopping there, or,
I'm reading that now, I see how it could be construed to say we're doing additional renovation activities or something.
so
Like,
I just wasn't sure.
Well, at the sentence after it does say, we need your help to
Right.
help us assess these things.
Right.
So, but we can change that sentence to make it more clear.
So I mean, I don't know how other people feel about it, it's just for me looking at it, because of it, the pronoun it being there, not knowing what the it is referring back to. So,
We could say, on our progress doesn't stop there.
that's,
I understand
like
that.
that.
Yeah, I like that,
I like
yeah.
our progress,
Mhm.
we just change that.
thanks, Marjorie.
Thank you.
Okay, and then in the last sentence where it says the next few years, can we say like 3 to 5 years? I know we've talked in the past about strategic plans sometimes being 3 to 5. I just felt like few was just too broad, and for me, it helped me to understand that it's for the next 3 to 5 years. If that's where we're looking, I don't know what people had talked about before.
Well,
often
it's,
do-
I mean, it's really up to the committee to discuss.
How often do we do a strategic plan?
So-
How many years?
We did, the last one we did was
3 years.
3 years.
And the one prior was 5.
5,
But
that's the first.
I would go
I
with
think
5.
3 to 5 is a good
Which is
time
what
frame.
we-
I mean,
I
if you
like
got
that.
it.
I like it being a little bit more specific.
I don't like it being more specific.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what
I'd say
if
that
what if
holds
this
good.
one we're so busy with we do it in 7 years?
So
What
then,
if
maybe not the word few. So just
over
future?
the
For the
coming
future.
years.
over the coming years, something,
Yeah.
but the designation of few, I felt like it,
So holding a plan that will guide the LLD forward for the,
In
How
the
about
coming
you
years.
To the future.
Right, or just eliminate the next few years and just say, stop, period, after forward.
oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
guide the LD forward. Yep, that sounds good. Thank you. I didn't have any other questions on that page, I don't know if anyone else.
Good
Sorry.
here.
Sorry,
it's
okay.
kind of good because you have like fresh eyes.
I do
Yeah.
have fresh eyes. On the next page with question 1, I know that this is a Google form, and so I was wondering if it could be, like, for each of the types of programs, could it be a yes/no question? If they answer yes, then they get the drop down to select the mornings, middays, evenings, weekends, and if it's a no, nothing will pop up for them?
I think that could lead to missed responses because you're not expecting conditional hides or shows. I kind of like the matrix
Okay.
just being there for the whole thing. And my first thought actually was, oh, this is clever because then people can pick their activity and time of day, and for me, I just like the presentation of having it all at once.
So, and the only reason why I was asking about that was because there's almost 2 questions there, right? Which programs interest you?
Mhm.
And then also what time of day would be most convenient? And if they're saying, yes, it interests me, then they give the input about when they would
Right.
like it to be, versus someone who's like, no, I didn't pay attention to the fact that it's what interests me, and I'm just gonna say, well, I think that
Can we just add a
this
not?
thing's gonna be at this time, but I don't even wanna go
Can
there
we-
anyway.
Can we add a final column that says just not interested?
But you're forcing, with your scenario, you're forcing someone to answer every line.
Say if they're
Say
interested or
no,
not.
Right.
Yes or no.
Maybe
Instead of
just a,
Right.
if you're not interested in a program, leave it blank.
Right.
Well,
Well, it
because
does
it
say
says check all that apply.
It does say
right?
check all that
Okay.
apply.
Right.
I just was wondering just because of the fact that it's two separate questions, right? Like, if does this interest you?
Yeah, I
And
think.
what
I
time?
think they would read past the check all that apply, but is it still, from a formatting perspective, going to work if we add a fifth column that just says not interested? And then they could fill in
Yeah.
every single row with a time of day or a not interested.
They could, well, they might not be interested and not select anything anyway.
Sure.
Correct. They could just
Right.
say, I'm not answering, I don't.
Right,
Right,
that's
I'm not
that's
gonna
entirely,
answer it.
yes.
I think we're already asking people to take time to fill this out. If we can
Bless you.
Don't make it
reduce their clicks in any manner, like this
Yeah.
is a really easy way to, that's one fewer click I have to make, as opposed to every single one having to
They
hit.
have
That's,
to click
that's
yes
true,
or
and
no
if it's
and
not
then go.
mandatory and they've left some blank and it allows them to move on, they'll be happy.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
And an additional question just for people who haven't, like, don't know about these programs. And like under youth STEAM, it says science, tech, engineering, art, math, but like, is there something, or should we say something that gives them idea about like what that is, like what a program would look like? Just a short descriptor to help them know, or does that not matter?
Even more than that, you're saying?
So like even like story times, well, is story times, like, is that in anyone's story time, or should there people, if there are people who don't know about these programs or haven't used them yet or aren't really sure what they are, do we need to be explicit in saying story times and then say underneath it, like infant, toddler, preschool, like that they know like what those are for? Do we need to give some type of descriptor, or?
are there story times that aren't youth,
I don't know.
toddler?
Yeah, but at that age story time, do you really need to delve into that?
Well, is
Well,
there?
that's what I'm-
Detail? I mean,
Well, that's why I'm asking. I'm just asking if someone came in and they were wanting to do these, like, would they know what digital instruction means? To be able to say that, like, yes, that interests me.
Okay, so I can see maybe, because as you already indicated, youth STEAM programs, there's a descriptor of science tech.
Right.
Okay, and then after lectures, author talks educational, that's about lectures. Then we say book clubs for adults, book clubs for kids. So like, are you saying story times for children?
I mean, I'm just, because of the fact that some of them have that designation for an age group, that might be helpful to add something in there like that so that they know. I mean, I'm assuming most people would know that story times are for children, but again, if we're,
And the ones that we do that age designation is because we have both.
oh,
So
I see what you're saying.
like,
Oh, yeah, for kids, got it.
there's always a for adults and then a for kids
Okay.
or teens.
Okay. And then for musical programs, I'm assuming that's just when people come in and perform, right? So that's just like a
General
concert type kind of thing? Okay. And that's all ages then, so it doesn't need to be
Yeah.
specified?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Alright, yep.
Next.
But that does bring up a question. What is digital instruction?
Oh, back to digital. I forgot about that one. It's teaching patrons how to use their device, whether it's downloading like books to your device or teaching someone how to use the website, things like that. But do you think we need a descriptor there?
Yeah, because digital instruction could also be construed as some of those like virtual presentations that happen.
That's what I was thinking it was, yeah, yeah. It was like an online course, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe technology classes for adults, because that's what we're referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah, that tells you exactly what it is.
So digital instruction is technology classes?
Yeah, I mean, digital
Yeah.
instruction can also mean like, we're helping you with your tablet at our service desk, but I think in this context, we mean like a tech
Program.
class that you
Because it's
attend,
programs?
right?
Yeah. Okay, technology classes for adults. All right.
the library-wide events like summer read, et cetera, I know we ask what time of day. Would most patrons know what time these currently are? You
Well, we're
know,
asking them what they like, what they would like.
Yeah, and I think it varies, because I mean,
some of them are, what, Friday nights, some are
Right,
Saturday
they're different.
mornings, so,
Some
yeah.
are-
But that doesn't have to be the case, is the point.
No,
Yeah.
I understand, but would it, I don't know, would it be helpful to know before you may change the time, what the time is now? Just general.
I mean, if,
I guess not, I mean,
yeah, if somebody likes them on a evening, then great, we've already got them on evenings. I don't know if that would, I can't
No,
imagine that would affect your
yeah,
answer, but,
I'm rethinking my question.
okay.
It asks what time of day, so that would answer that. Okay?
Anything else on 1? So then on 2, or, I'm sorry, it's question number 3. Oh, 2 was the, is there another type of program you think, okay, we've described well. And that's open-ended, right, you can type into it, okay. For number 3, with the outdoor program offerings, so I had a question, I was looking through this. Are we talking about the library-wide events? Are we talking about other outdoor programming things that sometimes happen?
Any.
Yeah.
Any? So like what other kinds of outdoor programs are there besides the library-wide events?
There's story times,
We
Pokemon
did,
Club
yeah,
is
we did a story
outside.
time outside.
Sometimes.
I know you guys have done it at the
We've
grass.
done summer read performers outside. We've done fun day afternoons outside. So in the summer, we do a pretty wide range of things outside. And then during the pandemic, everything was outside.
Right,
So,
yeah, I remember that.
So we have one the capability of doing almost everything outside if the need applies.
Okay,
But we still do a good portion of outdoor programming.
so where do you do those? Like, they're not like the library-wide events, where do you do them?
In the staff parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said this is getting away from the Markling one oval, right, their check
Yeah.
boxes, okay.
That was a mistake.
And then, so, one thing I had about that is, it says do less outdoor programs, but it should be fewer.
Okay,
People are snickering at me.
that's fine.
You're not, it's not wrong.
Happens to me all the
Okay.
time, you know, I don't worry about it.
Snickering at you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were talking about the way that you had it was, what did you say, you had like the negative ones first?
They were mixed, like there was positive, negative, and it was suggested that we divide them between negatives and positives because we were concerned that there might be some, just because they were grouped all kind of willy-nilly, that someone could mistakenly say a
Say for
positive
instance,
versus a negative.
like, wish what programs weren't held in the parking lot, and then also, well, no, there's not one that's against that one, never mind.
Yeah.
How about, I don't like outdoor programs and love outdoor
Yeah,
offerings?
yeah.
Okay, okay. And then this is all that apply, right? So they can do,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, one thing that I did notice throughout too when we see there, so when the options, the negative ones, when they have never, for some reason, the word never to me is like really striking me as like, I don't know, really like harsh. And so I don't know if instead of saying never knew, like I didn't know, like, because all of the ones that say never, there's other ones that have never too, and it just like, I don't know why, but never hits me in kind of an aggressive way. I don't know how other people feel about it, but when it's just like, I never knew, it just feels like,
Right.
it feels too like harsh to me, as opposed to like, I didn't know, or I wasn't aware.
I was unaware.
Yeah, I
Right.
like that, that's a nicer.
And actually, Emily, now that you mention it, that we do have only one of them that starts with an I. Everything else,
Yeah.
we should either change the top one to
Right.
don't like outdoor programs or have all of them say
No.
I never.
Yeah.
I agree with removing the pronouns. I would say don't like outdoor programs.
So get
other
rid of
one
the
was-
I there?
Right, unaware of outdoor programs.
Okay. So getting rid of that it doesn't even have the pronoun that you in there either, right?
Right.
So we're saying don't like outdoor programs and
Unaware
unaware
of.
of outdoor programs. I think that's a little awkward, but okay.
Or
I mean,
didn't know about, I mean, some,
Or not aware, is that flow better?
I
I like not aware.
Sure.
Can we say
Too.
dislike outdoor programs instead of don't like? But
Yeah, I
if
like
we're in
that.
it, we're in it. Let's make it.
Yep.
Yes.
So dislike outdoors not aware of outdoor programs.
Okay.
Along that line, can we change offerings to programs then in the third from last? Because everything else is programs and then
Oh.
we just randomly have offerings.
Sure.
Anything else on that one? Thank you. On 4, it's also check all that apply to endorsements and then the mark one over, so that's done, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So for here, I do have just a general question for the group. So the last question here was, what amenities would you utilize in such a space? And I think that one of the things we need to think about too, I know we want to know how people would use it, but also we are funded by our taxpayers. So even if we have taxpayers who don't plan on using the space, I feel like they should still be able to like say like, well, this is what I'd like to see there. Even if I'm not gonna use it, I still would like to see this here. If that makes sense to you.
Like-
Just like if it was like the park district and they were building a playground, I might not use the playground, but I still would like to see something there. I would still like to have some
Right,
input.
yeah,
into
no,
the
I agree.
design,
What would you like to see here? Yeah.
as opposed to what you would, I mean, I know we wanna know what people would use, but I don't want it
okay.
to sound like taxpayers who wouldn't use this space don't have a say.
Okay.
What should we say? So what did you, Debbie, you said something, what did you say?
I said, what would you like to see in this space, or what amenities would you like to see in this space? No, yeah.
Instead of
Yeah.
utilize.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good point, Emily.
Yeah. Okay.
Does anyone have anything else in?
That's good.
Yes, just
Yes,
to have a
yes.
comment. Number 2, pocket playground area, smaller equipment for kids. Could we replace kids with something else?
Children.
Maybe smaller children? I mean, are we talking about smaller equipment for smaller children? I mean, is that what we're,
I think when we say pocket playground, we're not talking about like community park, you know, like the grand playground for children. We're talking about like a couple of pieces of equipment for children.
okay.
Not necessarily just toddlers. It could be like 5 and 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds. So it's,
Do
we
you
can
not like
reword
the word
this.
kids?
Yeah, I don't, to me, they're small.
Yeah, when it says
small
smaller
children.
equipment, it sounds like it's like little kid, like little equipment. Yeah, it's a small playground for children or something like that would be, so that it is.
But it is smaller equipment, like that's the point, we're not putting on a jungle gym.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm fine with smaller equipment, I just don't like the word kids,
yeah.
What would you like instead?
children.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's easy.
I just think the smaller equipment makes you think it's like just
It is.
miniature. It is. Well, then
Well, I
it's
mean,
more
it's-
for smaller kids.
But
Because
it's
even when he
probably-
was showing was more like toddler kind
Yeah.
of stuff. There
Well,
weren't
it's-
weren't
It probably
swings or
primarily
anything,
will
yeah.
be for the smallest
Yeah.
children.
It's
So I
gonna,
think,
it's gonna be more, there's a lot of parks in Lisle that have, most playgrounds, generic ones are, say, like the sticker on the side is for ages 5 to 12. Then they also have a smaller one off the side that says appropriate for ages 2 to 5.
Right.
So we're thinking the ones that are like appropriate for ages 2 to 5, where the steps are a little bit smaller, the slide is a little bit smaller,
Okay.
but you know the 12-year-olds will still play on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
it's not that older children cannot play on it.
Right.
But it is a slightly
Okay.
smaller footprint
Right.
and has slightly smaller everything, so it can be utilized by a younger crowd as well.
okay,
Okay. So then smaller is the right description.
Right.
Okay.
just children instead of kids.
Anything else on that one? Okay. Okay, so on the next page, 5. I don't have anything there. I appreciated that you mentioned that the hyperlink with the district was to the map. That's good there. All right. And then 6, when checking out materials, the formats. Anything there? Everything's clear?
Good.
On the next one, 7, I know that it's above the checkbox, it says check if utilized, but I feel like just for uniformity's sake, since the other ones have like check all that apply, that maybe you can also just say check all that apply, just the same way that, I feel like the other ones all said check all that apply.
Sure.
I agree.
So just for uniformity there, and then, only as a little languagey kind of thing. So the question or the statement that we're saying is check all the non-traditional materials, resources, services you've used. And then the bottom 2 choices saying, I never knew you had all of these offerings. And then none of the above, but that's not a material or a resource or a service. So I know that we want to kind of capture if people know that they're aware of them. But I think that like, if they don't check anything that they've used, then we'll already know that they don't use them. I mean, I know we want to know, do people know? Because that'll help us know if we need to be kind of marketing that more, that we have these things. So I understand why asking the question. I just feel like because it's not a material and that's what we're supposed to be checking, that it kind of makes me question the inclusion of it there. Again, that's just I'm just putting it out there.
I think we could take off the none of the above, because if they don't check anything, they don't check anything. But I do like having the, I never knew you had all these
So again, with the
offerings.
never,
So
I
was
did, or
unaware.
like, didn't know you have, or whatever.
Right.
What did we put in the
I
other
think
one?
we said
I was not aware
not aware.
Yeah.
Right,
of these offerings.
right, not aware of the
Not
offerings.
aware.
And do we want to ask if there's anything else they would like us to offer in this question somewhere? I mean, is there a
Like
spot
other-
where we want to say, you know? that
Well,
there's
remember,
something-
we're asking about non-traditional.
Yes.
Right.
Well,
So,
and that's, there's a lot of other non-traditional things that other libraries offer that maybe somebody is looking for. I don't know. If that's too
that would be a
open-ended.
separate question, for
Okay.
sure.
Right.
Is that something we want to hear?
Like if there's.
Right,
Like
just
a
a-
maker space or,
Right,
the
just
3D
do
printer or
add another
something.
open-ended
Yeah.
question
Mhm.
like we have for question 2.
Right,
Are there
that's-
any other
yeah.
non-traditionals, material resources, services
Yeah.
you would utilize?
Yeah, I think,
So just
So just in
insert
the same kind of
question
format as for
A.
number
yeah,
2?
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I could do that. So are there any other non-traditional materials, resources, services?
You would
Would
like
like
us
the library to
yeah.
provide.
Right,
Yeah.
to offer, yeah.
Yep.
And then just as please describe below the number 2.
Right.
Any other comments on that one? On 8, I'm curious how the discussion went with that one before with everyone, or what your feelings are, just because to me, there really are 2 separate questions, and I know we're trying to limit that, but someone might say like they're coming into the library more than they're using like the digital or online resources, and I know we want to know like library usage as a whole, right? So I personally feel like it would be good to separate them to 2 separate questions, and then we can mix the data together ourselves later, but just to have that idea of, we've talked before about how there's people that are like, well, I don't ever go into the library, but I use Hoopla and I use Libby all the time. But they're not coming into the physical library.
I mean,
And to capture it separately, or were you just wanting it like all together?
I think what we were going for was all together, so not to gauge who's using physically versus digitally. It was to then use this as parameters for the rest of the survey.
Right.
Okay.
To see like people who answered this are just in general high users, or people who answered this are in general low users.
We already know who's coming in and who's, like, we know who's checking up books here and who's checking up books electronically.
Yeah.
It's the people who, I guess if you
I mean,
showed
and I
up
just
and didn't
didn't
do
know
anything.
if you wanted a comparison too between like the digital users, the heavy digital users versus the heavy in-person users
I mean, we've already got that information.
too.
Well, but we
But
do
not
have the information, but not
connected to-
juxtaposed with this
Right.
survey.
Right.
So I think that's what Emily's saying is could would be an
Like
option
for
if
the
we.
respondents to the survey is what I'm asking. So the response to the survey, so if there's someone who is a frequent in-person library user and then they really answered a lot about the programming or the ones that they use versus the ones who are saying they use all these digital resources and then they're like super low on programs. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm asking about. I don't know if we want that data, if that would be helpful.
I'm trying to remember back to the meeting and the conversation we had. And I think it was, we want to know if they're users, and I don't know if we were trying to parse out whether they're.
What kind of user?
Yeah, whether,
versus
like,
user.
are we, because we're asking a lot of, because we're already asking about materials and things, that's giving us that information. So we just want to know if, like, how often they're using us, whether
Anything.
it's digital or coming into the building.
Okay.
Because we're already asking about materials.
I just didn't know if you wanted to delve deeper and see like, okay, you know, these people that are coming into the library, then they're not using these materials as much, or, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't know if that mattered.
It absolutely is like an extra layer of information. I don't know if we were able to come up with any like actionable items specific to one or the other that we'd say, if we found that digital users liked hardcovers more than paperbacks, I mean, maybe we could use something with that information sometime down the road, but it seemed, at least, it didn't seem to be anything that would be directly affecting anything.
Like our strategic, like how we're moving forward this year.
And this is about how often,
Yeah.
it's not which, so.
So, and not for targeting, so not to say, like, not to have an actionable goal for the people who are just the heavy online digital users.
Well, more importantly, are we going to say that even if you only use it a couple of times a year, we're going to weight your responses less than someone who uses it every day?
Yeah.
No,
So
I mean,
then
I think it's just,
kind of irrelevant.
you know, information
the
for
way in
us.
which they're using it, like.
yeah. I really,
Right.
I just was curious.
Yeah, I think to me, the point was, it's not really going to change our responses to it. And if it would, then I would ask, like, we have a lot more demographic things to collect and we're considering, all right, if there's lower response rates for the actual utilization of the services, physical or digital, we're not gonna weigh their feedback as heavily. It just goes back
Well,
to
and
your
I wasn't
question
even
about
thinking
like.
it that way. It was more just like an information gathering thing, just to see like, oh, what do these users have in common? Or what, you know, or is there something that we
Right.
can do to
But
help
then what are we
get
gonna
the
do
people
with it?
who use the digital content and don't come into the library as much, what can we do to get them to come into the library as more? Or do we, you know what I mean? Like that's what I was.
Well, they may not want.
They might not want to, right? And then why, right? Like, I don't know. Do we want that? Do we want to start going
I think
down
we're gonna
that?
gather that by the responses to what they're looking for. If someone.
What materials.
Right,
and-
What
materials,
materials,
services,
yeah.
things like that, it's, you know, you come in once a month, you come in every day, and we improve whatever it is that you're looking for specifically. Maybe you come in more, maybe you don't, but it doesn't mean we aren't gonna try to offer that
Right.
service.
Oh, no, and I wasn't saying it for that
Right.
way. It was really just kind of like a
Right,
data piece that I was
Yeah.
just wondering about. Okay, and then in the responses for that, every day is 2 words, not one. The every day like that is an adjective and it needs to be every space day. And then also, if you look, they don't go in frequency order. So it said every day, once a week, a few times a week, but a few times a week is more frequent than once a week. And then a few times a month is more frequent than once a month.
I see what you're saying.
So those ones need to be switched because of the frequency order.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you for engaging in that conversation with me, because it helps me to hear everyone's thoughts and why we're getting that information. And then the next one, with 9, I like how there's the links to signing up for the e-blast if you want to do that. I actually was having a conversation with my family about those, and I said, look, these are all the e-blasts I've been getting recently. I pulled them up on my phone. I'm like, see. These are all the good ones. So I had a question on these, because in the description it says help us improve by checking the answers that apply, and it talks about the e-blasts, which was plural, but then in these choices where it says it reminded me, so because it's e-blasts plural, so then it shouldn't be it, then it should be they.
They remind me to register for programs.
So, and then the first one, I would like it better if we are gonna be having subjects for all of them, then that would say I love instead of just love. And then for the never, change the never. I
We're
didn't, I
removing
wasn't
the I. If we're
aware.
removing the pronouns from all the other ones, we should probably just change that to something else then.
Yeah, because we're not doing I never.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah.
Although we do have it above an 8.
So what are we saying?
We
So
could-
it's just love receiving, never knew you provided.
Oh, yeah, so getting
Get
rid of
too
all the
many.
pronouns,
Yeah.
right? Is that what we said,
Yeah.
just getting rid of all of them?
Yeah,
And it was what, yeah, it was not aware you provided.
So was not aware.
right.
Mm.
Oh, right.
So then what do we
Never.
say? I get too many
Yeah,
emails
sorry.
as it is, don't need any more. How do we get rid of that I?
Yeah, so getting rid of all of the subjects in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, the never, just for some reason, every time I read the never, I was like, ooh. Like it felt like aggressive to me, like, you never use never again. Okay. Oh, and then I was gonna ask too, in the description of that, please let us know your thoughts about LLDs e-blast. Should be the LLDs? Because,
Yeah.
right, the library, the LLDs?
Yeah.
Okay. And then number 10, so this saying I'm not interested in volunteering, that's sticking with having the negative at the top?
So just not.
Or-
interested, not interested. And-
Or, well, and my question is, like, do we want that one to be the first answer, or do we want that to be the
Last.
bottom answer? Do we want them to read through the affirmative choices first before getting the, like, no, I'm not interested? That's my question. There.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking about the taking away the I and the, yeah, so not interested.
So you want that at
I
the
think
bottom.
that's at the bottom, yeah. Because it gives them, they can kind of think about it as they go through.
Right.
Otherwise, if they just check I, they might just move on to the next question instead of contemplating
And then
possibilities.
do we, oh, you, okay.
They took out the I.
You got it, okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Out of curiosity, just out of curiosity, what made 65 or over be the cutoff for the
I looked
upper
at
end?
so many surveys and
That's how they
this
do
was
it?
just standard
Okay.
across the board.
I was just curious, it's really just a curiosity. And then because we can't see it on here, I can't see it on my copy, so what does it say, check?
Check all that apply.
So, but for number 11, it really should just be check
It
one
should be
then,
like
right?
circle,
Because
yeah.
it's,
Yeah, it should be the ovals, yeah. Those are the
no,
choose.
I'm sorry, this one. See, it says check all that apply, but it really
Oh,
should
yeah.
just be one of them, right?
And
Because
so
it's-
should the other one. Or
Yeah.
maybe not, should it?
And then number 12 also should just be one
Yeah,
choice.
yeah, yeah, they should.
So 11 and 12 both should just be
Select one.
select one. Okay. And then in 13, it's also just select one, right?
Correct.
And then I had a question about that, and this was just mathematically, because I was looking, I know that those are hyphens, like dashes, but then I was like, 2 minus me plus 1, like a math, like a math phrase. So I don't know if there's a way to have it be different, not have a dash. Some other kind of thing
It
to
could be
separate
equal,
it out.
you could do equal.
Or
Yeah.
parentheses maybe around me plus one,
Right.
you know?
Well, we
Yeah.
don't have numerals in front of any other options.
Well, this is because how many people are currently living in your household?
Oh, so we're saving people from doing the math?
Yes. Yes, that's
Well,
what it is.
not
You're
quite,
thinking it
because
looks like a
even,
math problem.
It does look like a math
Yeah,
problem.
that's-
It's not.
she's
It's
saying the
saying
dash
one is me,
looks like
but
a
then
dash.
it's
Got it.
really 2 is
Minus.
me plus
oh,
1.
let's just do that, let's just take out the numbers. Just me plus 1, me plus 2, me plus 3, me plus 4
There you
more.
go.
Well, why?
Because the 5 is also confusing, because it looks like you're limited to 5, so someone who has 6 people in their family may not know what to respond.
Well, why don't,
Oh.
wait, we could just take all the me's out and just have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus, and 5 plus be the last one. Because how many
That's
people?
fine, that works too.
What are we doing?
So
You can
getting
either
rid of
take
all
out-
the me's.
1.
Just make.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5
Well,
plus.
the reason I did the me's is because
Right,
sometimes people are like, well, I'm taking this, but I just have one more person in my
Right.
family with me. That's why I
Right.
said me
right,
is 1. Me plus 1 is 2.
yeah,
Because when people take, I've heard it before
Yes.
from other people. They're like, does it mean me is one, or is it my partner who's one?
Right.
I think, could we say like, what is the total number of people living in your household? Do you think that would make it clearer?
How many?
I mean, it
Instead of
says
having the
including yourself, how
It
many
does say
people
including yourself.
currently live in your household? So it does say including yourself in that, just giving the description, so putting the numbers down should be enough.
Sufficient.
Yeah.
Can we put the including yourself at the end of the question so that it starts with the
true.
question word? How many people currently live in your household, including yourself? Or how many people, including yourself, live in your, I don't know.
Right.
But I just feel like the question word should be.
So then we should
fine.
just do the 1, 2, 4 or more? Like just the numbers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we want it to be?
So it's how many people currently live in your household, including yourself?
And the
1,
choices?
2, 3, 4 or more, or 5? Yeah, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or more.
Well,
Yeah.
1, 2,
2,
3.
3, 4, 5 or more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
prefer not to answer, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Are we okay with those choices?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 14, the map. Great.
Should we change it to say, indicate the general location of your home in the library district?
Oh, or where you
Well,
reside?
people, not everybody lives in a home. Well, at a house, I guess.
Your residence?
Residence.
Yeah.
Residence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
Because
you reside,
if I'm
yeah.
being a smart aleck and I'm indicating
Right.
my general location in the district.
Right,
I'm taking it
everybody's
here,
in
I need
four.
a
Right.
You're right.
Everybody takes it to the
So-
library and everybody's in the fourth.
So what are we saying?
Of your residence, the
Yeah.
general
The
location of your residence.
The general location of your residence?
Mhm.
Okay.
In the library district, okay.
Okay. Oh, well, this is just how it's printed here, the prefer not to answer. Languages spoken or signed at home. I like that you're almost done. Yay, I'm almost done. So for number 16 and 17, using the word score makes it feel like I'm taking a test and I'm getting scored on how I'm doing. So I didn't know if we could change it to like rating for number 16. So it's because you're rating it, right? You're ranking or rating it.
Please rank.
Please rank the LLD in terms
rate
of meeting
below.
your family's needs.
Please
Indicate
I
indicate
think, yeah.
the
would
rating.
just
The
say-
rating below?
Please rate below.
Or
I
rate
think the
below or
rate, because
below?
rank makes it sound like you should be putting things in
In
order.
order.
Yeah, please
Yeah.
rate below.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then for 17, instead of if you scored lower than a 3, because to me that means that I was taking a
Took a
test
test,
and I
yeah.
got lower than a 3 on my test.
Right.
If it says I scored lower than a 3.
So
So if I
if-
rated or indicated lower than a
If
3
you
or
rated the LLD.
rated the LLD,
The LLD lower than a 3, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. And then the last question is an open-ended response. I was just wondering if we could add the word "that" in between indicate and below in the initial.
Say it again?
Right here, so it says if you'd like to share anything else that you think will aid the committee in
Oh,
creating a
here.
new strategic plan, please indicate that below instead of indicate below. Okay, just that, because that's gonna be open-ended, right? I mean, I know that the library logo's here, but it's gonna be open-ended.
Yes, yes,
stuff,
yes.
right? Okay. I don't have anything else for me.
Can we align it with the other open-ended and just say, please describe below?
Is that, do the other
That's
open-ended
what
say please
2
describe?
and the new 8 say.
Okay.
Please
So-
describe
So please
below.
describe below.
Yeah.
And then, I know when you showed us your sample one up there, and it had your email address, because you're the one filling it out, is there something on there that says that, like, we are not collecting your email address, like, we're not, like, when you fill out Google Forms, sometimes it says, like, it has the account that you're using on there, but it tells you we are not collecting your email address. So to use that on there saying, like, we're not because we don't want them to feel like they're tied to it and we're gonna know that they're the ones filling out the survey,
I
right?
think there's
So-
a choice
So
to,
you can
Yeah, I
do
feel like
that.
that's in the settings
Yes.
for the
Yeah, so I just wanna
form.
make sure that that's
I will
the
make a
setting we
note.
put on.
yeah.
And then, and then sometimes when you do Google Forms, they give you the option of having your answers emailed to you if you want them. Do we wanna offer that to them or
No,
not, or just
no.
have it get sent and then?
Yeah,
that's
I don't
fine?
want emails connected
Okay.
to it at all, yeah.
Okay.
That's okay with everyone.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't even know that it was going to them, it's just for them
Right.
to have their own record keeping of what they submitted. Okay. Any of their business, okay. All right, so on the back page,
Yes.
Okay.
So on the back page, there's some things we need to think about, and something that's very timely, that's happening this Friday. Well, let's start. We have to talk about when we want to release this, and how long it should be out to the public. But we also have an opportunity on Friday, because we should have a good amount of people in the building. And if we want to soft launch this with the recommendations we made today, we can have a little cafe table at Winterfest somewhere in the building where we have like a little treat for somebody who would take it on a laptop computer. We can soft launch it that way and then really push it out there in other ways we'll talk about next. But I wanted to know if there was interest in doing that. But I would need somebody to station that table. And you don't have to be there for the full 2 hours of the event or anything. It could just be for like 1 hour if a trustee were to, because staff are gonna be busy at the event. But if there was a trustee who would be willing to sit at a table and encourage people to come take the survey, we could do that. If not, that's fine. We can
I can do it.
move it. We'd like to do that.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that too.
Because we have little treats we can get out and then just encourage people to take the survey, so soft launch, and then big launch, what we can do, there's things we can do in terms of, we can put out a postcard out, because we just went through, I think everybody received their newsletter in the mail. However, our next newsletter date is not gonna happen until February or March, so I'm not sure we wanna wait that long, but that's for the committee to discuss. Putting out a nice glossy postcard, I think the Park District put one out recently, it was like 6x9
Yeah.
glossy. It's about $2,000 to do that for all of our district residents, which isn't too bad.
No.
We could do that with like a QR code on it and then a link to the website, please help us, it basically says what we're saying on the front of the survey, like help us create the strategic plan, so we can do that. Other things we can do is we can have kind of talk tables, and it doesn't have to be trustees, it could be anybody on the committee, talk tables like at a story time or at some adult programming. I know that we've got some larger programs happening in January where we could have a talk table, things like that. And then obviously just having signs up around the building. But we need to know, like, if we soft launch, we've already have somebody doing that this Friday, when do we want to really push it out there? Because we'd have to design the postcard and things like that, and how long do we want it out in the public before we, because remember, we're gonna have to gather the information and kind of suss through it, have meetings on it, and see like, how does this guide us through our strategic planning? So, what do we think?
What's a typical time that something like that is out there?
It could be a month, it could be 2 months, depends.
I think we should hold off on the postcards until after the first of the year.
Yep.
But after that, I think, I don't know, maybe like,
Is 6 weeks, like
Yeah.
somewhere between a month and 2 months?
When will the February, March newsletter actually get sent?
It should be sent the first week of February.
Okay.
I mean, we could put it in the newsletter too. If we
Well,
wanted it to go
my
through
thought,
February.
right, my thought was send out the postcard initially, put a reminder in the newsletter,
Okay.
and then close it after that.
Close it after
Maybe
February.
give it like 2 weeks into February
We
or
could do
something?
2 weeks.
Well, I think probably whenever we get the postcard together, even when it
Mm-hmm.
goes out, most people won't receive it until mid-January.
Right.
They look at it. Then you have a reminder, so maybe mid-January through the end of February, that's 6 weeks,
Or
Longer than that?
Say March 1st.
March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they
So
get a
basically
postcard and then a
January through
reminder.
February. I mean,
Yeah.
we can put it on our website.
That's true.
Immediately.
That's true.
Well, and
We'll
too,
do
you
that.
have things posted around the building with the QR code too, that people can just scan on their phone
Yep.
and
Right.
do it
Yeah.
then too.
And you could put it on social media, of course, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can do January, February if the committee's
Mhm.
comfortable with 2 months.
I think
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's too long.
okay.
More time gives us a chance for more responses. Historically, these are low response rate, so,
Yeah, and I think
More the
especially
merrier.
having the mailer to remind
Yeah.
people is good.
Okay.
yep.
Well, that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of nice because then, you know, we'll have the soft launch with Winter Fest,
Mhm.
but we can also coordinate some other table talks
Yeah.
during the January, February months
Perfect.
for that.
Mhm.
Okay. And we all feel good about the postcard?
Yeah.
You feel okay?
Yeah.
All right.
The
That was
postcard
easy.
will have QR code on it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And link to the
and link to the
website,
website.
Perfect.
and just like the introductory statement that we have here,
Great.
talking about, and then it'll look nice. All that good stuff.
Excellent.
Okay.
And then, oh, I'm sorry. We talked about 2 paper copies for people that don't want to do it
Mhm.
digitally, right? So when will we have those on Friday, or Friday
No.
will just be all
It will not be.
online stuff, right? For the
Yes.
soft, right?
Yes.
So then we'll need to make sure that whatever we're putting out there is that they also have the option of coming into the library and filling out a paper survey.
Yeah.
Yes.
If
So-
they want to, if they don't want to do it.
So if we like really
Online.
push after the first of the year, by January, first week in January, we'll have the paper copy
Yeah,
available
that's
for
perfect.
anybody.
Kind of
Right.
coincides with the
Just
postcard.
kind of have it at the circulation desk
Yeah,
for people.
at all the
Yeah,
public
but yeah.
service
Mhm.
desks. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Anyone have anything else
All right.
before we?
Thanks.
Okay, well then, I just need a motion and a second to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned at 7:56 PM.
Thank
Thanks,
you, everybody.
everyone.
Yeah, good
Thank you.
stuff.